We should all be grateful that we have Dragon Age the Veilguard. This is not clickbait, just hear me out. This isn't about diversity and inclusion. This isn't about game graphics or art direction or theme or the fact that it kind of feels just a little watered down. It's not about like targeting newer gamers, younger demographics. No, no. So I watched a couple YouTube videos, and there's this article by I think it's Jason Schreier. I'm not sure. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing names. I don't really read these articles like that. I watched a couple videos. I thought it was interesting, so I dove in. And for anyone that's familiar with me, I don't really share recordings of my voice. It's really just straight gameplay. I thought this was such an important point that I just had to put my thoughts out there, right? So let me read from the article. But the game, which had been in development for years, was facing turmoil and had been rebooted from a single player game into a live service game with a heavy multiplayer component. Basically, they changed it from a single player game to a live service game and then back to a single player game once they realized that the live service game wasn't going to hit right. And I just want to take a moment and be very grateful that we're not looking at a new Destiny clone. Like, this could have been another wannabe Destiny that just didn't hit right. I mean, for example, I forget which YouTuber I heard say it, but it's in the DNA of the game. If you go to the character screen, this is the Destiny menu. This is the Destiny screen. It's the same thing. It's crazy that it's quite literally just the same thing. And another thing about just that in general. Forgive me, I'm not reading off a script or anything like that. You can't control the characters like you could in the previous game, right? That's because when they were designing it from the ground up, you were never meant to control the other characters. Your friends were, right? It was supposed to be a multiplayer game. So these little limitations that we're seeing within the game right now, that's not just like strictly the choice of the developer. That's kind of the company telling the developers that they had to go live service, and then by the time they switched back, it was too late. You know, you can't undo some of that. It's in the DNA. It's in the foundation of it. So say what you want about diversity and inclusion or decisions not mattering or the gameplay or the art direction. Say whatever you. I mean, you can have your opinion. It's you're right to have your opinion, right? You have that right. But every one of us needs to be grateful that one of the biggest video game developers in the world pulled the plug on the live service aspect of this game. It was a huge corporate trend for a long time, and this is coming from a 10-year long Destiny 2 player. So I'm not trying to sound hypocritical, but I'm not trying to get into another Destiny 2 type of relationship with the game. Thousands of hours is too many. A really good RPG like Witcher 3, I got like 300 hours in Witcher 3. That's a very long time. A really good RPG you could sink 100 hours into. A really good game you could sink 100 hours into. But then there's those games that are perpetual. It would have been such a slog if this would have been another Destiny 2 clone. Um, could you imagine what BioWare could have done if from the beginning of the development cycle they never had to reboot it into a live service? If this from the ground up was a RPG game, like a true blue, from the ground up, this could have been one of the best, given how much love they actually showed the game and how much love from a development standpoint of switching it back to a non-live service game. You could argue whether or not they invested, the resources correctly and stuff like that in terms of art direction and story and the decisions and things like that. That's not what we're here for. We're just here to celebrate and champion the fact that this is not another Destiny 2 clone, because it almost was, and it would not have hit right. It would have not if not it would not have hit right. It would have just been a travesty. I think this is a nice beginner friendly action game. I wouldn't even really call it an action RPG. I guess there's aspects of that, but it seems very much just like a linear narrative driven action game with a couple of conversational decision pieces. And that's kind of sad in a way compared to what Inquisition was, for example. But at the same time, you know, it feels like at the minimum it's a solid week or two of a game where you play it, go through it, and kind of just experience it. I don't know if it's got 100 hours in it or not, or 300 hours. That's whatever. But the big takeaway here is we could have been looking at Dragon Age Destiny 2. We could have look, they got the screen set up for it already. This could have been Dragon Age Destiny 2. Thank goodness it's not. Look, GG's, stay classy out there. You know, don't get too heated. I know it's a divisive game. I hope y'all are enjoying it, but just wanted to take one moment to shout y'all out and just let y'all know we got lucky. This could have been horrible. This could have been a true blue disaster. I mean, that's crazy. I'll link the article in the description if anybody wants to read it. GG's. Y'all have a good night. Peace.